Hi everyone, this is Sean here, and today I have with me Dan Warburton. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Warburton, but
Warburton. Okay, great.
but it's pretty good pronunciation. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Later, I'll get you to try and pronounce my name, Sean Seah. Okay. Anyway, he's from London, and he's a transformational coach. Transformational coach.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dan, could you share with us what is transformation about? Right. What do you do?
Well, firstly, thank you so much for inviting me here and interviewing me. You know, I really look up to you as somebody who's succeeded as an investor and become a millionaire. You're a true inspiration here. So, sorry, what's your question again?
My question is, so when we say transformation, what is it that you do? Like, how do you...
Okay, so as I was saying to you earlier, transformation is not understood by many. And it's a word that's used a lot. Oh, it's transformational. Yet people don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think I know what it is. Like transformation sounds to me like something changed or something like there's a metamorphosis, like things become better. Is that what it means?
Metamorphosis is closer to it. It basically, what transformation isn't, it's not change, it's not altering, it's not improving.
Okay.
It's completely vanishing and recreating.
Ah.
Yeah?
So it's like denying the old self, like I'm no longer Sean, but I'm Dan. I don't know.
Well, that's a great place to start. Who is Sean?
Who is Sean? You're making me doubt myself.
Well, it goes for all of us. All of us human beings are simply what we think we are and think we're not.
Okay.
And for me, transformation has become the most extraordinary and unbelievable thing I've ever discovered in my life. That's now leaving me living an extraordinary, fulfilling life of happiness, freedom, full self-expression, fun, consistently.
That sounds like a place that a lot of people want to go
Well,
to.
this is it. And a lot of people are chasing money, and they want money, and they think the money's going to get it.
He's not going to get it? No, I know it's not going to get it.
How many people do we know have got money, have got the car, have got the lifestyle, yet they're grumpy as hell?
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I'm not denying money. I mean, I'm well into money. I flipping love the stuff.
Okay.
Not only because I think the fun things I can buy and the freedom it brings, but also the impact I can use it for, on people in this world.
That's right. Money is just a resource, right? It's not an end goal.
That's it.
More to it.
That's it. But really, transformation gives us access to a new level of fulfillment, enjoyment, bliss, and wonder in our life.
And I know that you do works on for people as well.
Yeah.
So, is there any example you can give? So, like is there someone that you're coaching who transform, and how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I can give you my own story.
Okay.
There's a direct access to it. So, when I was 4 years old, I was a hypochondriac.
Okay,
In other words, I always thought I had health problems and I thought I was going to die.
At 4 years old?
At 4 years old.
That's terrible, okay.
At 4 years old. And then when I was 7 and 8, I discovered lying to fit in at school.
Okay.
And to look good and to impress other people.
So what are some of the lies that you tell in school?
Oh my God, I don't know. Like, just crazy, silly stuff as a kid.
Like you're from a dad who's a multi-billionaire or things like that.
Oh, yeah, and other things, and how I was a hero, and how I beat up teams of other boys that were bigger than me, and all these things that were made up.
Wait a minute, you mean that's not common? Because I do that as well in school.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? So many of us have done that. And then when I got to 11 and 12, I began being bullied really badly, and I was beaten up to the point where I was really scared to go back into school. And then when I got to the age of 14, 15, I then discovered marijuana and smoking marijuana.
Okay, cool. Do you bring some to Singapore?
Apparently they were the best days of my life, but I can't remember much about them.
Okay, we're going to censor this portion. I'm just kidding.
No, leave it in, I'm real. Please don't cut this out. So then when I was in 20, I then discovered harder drugs, and I went completely off the rails, and I couldn't even function in society. When I was 23, again, I went completely off the rails, and when I was 24, 25, I began to rebalance a little bit.
And what were you doing back then? At 23, 24, were you
working? This was before I got into university, and all my studies got broken up, and all my university days got delayed, and I felt very lost. I didn't have any enjoyment in my life. I didn't feel like anybody liked me, that nobody wanted me, that I was and I'd found this extreme way of getting into fashion or trying to look good. I was obsessed about impressing people and making sure that I got noticed and be included and actually embraced into communities and into movements, but I never felt I was. And then when I was 25, I began working with my first coach in ontology.
Okay.
And ontology is a study of being.
I see.
It's the most incredible, unlike not known thing. It's just extraordinary. And one of the greatest sayings within the study of being is the world occurs how I'm being. So however I'm being, the world will reflect that back to me.
Right.
So if I'm being, nobody wants me, I don't fit in, I'm different, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, I'm too short, I'm black, I'm white. What happens is, as we're being that, we walk into a room and then the reactions from people only ever prove to us that I am that thing that I fear that I am.
So you create your own world with your own story.
You got it.
Right.
You got it. And so what happened was then through years of coaching and working with different coaches in transformation, mentors, I became a Tai Chi master.
Okay.
I studied ancient philosophy, ancient literature, all in an attempt to try and find out why my life was just so difficult. And then I had businesses and I failed in businesses. I never made money. I felt like I had to struggle and work all sorts of hours, but no business ever worked. And then about 7 years, I had a huge breakthrough. And that's what's led me to now want to share transformation with everyone and make it available through my courses.
So share with us a bit more about the breakthrough. What caused the breakthrough?
Yeah,
and
sure.
What happened after that?
So during a transformational session, I was brought back to my memories of an event that happened when I was 3 years old. And I was sat on this chair, and there I was, 3 years old, all happy, and the sun was shining, and I'm in a double push pram with my brother next to me.
Okay, he's
a double, no, not twin brother. I was 3, he was 1.
I see.
And it's a push pram. It's like a pram where the mum pushes 2 children
side
at once.
by side, right?
Yeah. And my mother went into the shop and came out, and I put my hands up so she could give me what she bought. She ignored me and gave it to my brother.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. This thing, my brother, had ruined my life. He'd taken all the love and attention away from me.
So at that point in time, you created a story.
Well, I then, to get my revenge, I bit his ear really hard. And he screamed out crying, and my father runs over and says, "No, you mustn't do that. He's your brother. You must love your brother." And it shocked me as I was looking up at him. And at this point, my mum had now run over to my brother and was cuddling my brother, saying, there now. So he's getting cuddled and loved even more. I'm now being shouted at in the middle of the street with everybody else looking at me. And in that moment, I made it mean I'm not good enough, nobody wants me.
I see.
And from that moment on, I spent the rest of my life making sure that I was good enough and wanted and I fitted in. And then as the years of coaching went on, I then did transformational coaching and continually practicing this to see these key moments where I interpreted myself in a disempowering way. I then found other events. I found another event that happened when I was 6 years old, and I invented that as I'm not noticed. And then I was brought back to even shortly after my birth, through just constantly looking for memories and little snippets and then piecing them together. I was brought back to a moment when straight after I was born, I had this sensation that I'm abandoned.
Wow.
And that, it might sound extreme, but I've now discovered that every single human being has disempowering interpretations that they've invented about themselves from things that have happened in their life.
So by discovering all these moments that you mentioned, how can we actually break out of this?
Well, there's a very simple process that once you become aware of these interpretations, I then take people through my transformational journey that I take on a one-on-one basis, where I enable people to become clear about what were they thinking at the time, and then what has being that thought caused as an impact on their life. For instance, what is it that someone has in their life that they don't want to have in their life from being I'm different and I don't fit in, for instance. And it could be I overwork to try and fit in. I don't take risks or don't take challenges because if it doesn't work out, then I'll just experience that even more. I'm not honest with people in my life. I cheat, I lie, and then what's the impact of that? I have distant relationships. I don't fit in. What's the impact on your business? Are you focused in business? No, you're not focused on business because you're so worried about what people think rather than just being in action to become successful.
So it's really consciously finding out all those moments, asking yourself what do they mean to you and how does it impact you?
And then where has it impacted you?
Right.
And then once you really get the sense of worry of where that's been impacting you, then you're beginning to get the impact. Then you realise this isn't good for me. This way of being doesn't serve me anymore. And then at that point, the key questions are, who invented this way of being? I invented it.
Yes.
Is it true? No, it's not true.
Right.
So now that you invented it and it's not true, do you need to be that any longer?
Right. So it's to change the whole entire script.
That's it. All of a sudden you realise I don't have to be that way anymore.
Oh, I see.
I don't need to procrastinate. I don't need to avoid taking actions. I don't need to hide myself and spend hours on Facebook or Netflix.
Okay.
I don't need to let these feelings that I feel that are caused from that interpretation, because that interpretation will probably never disappear completely.
Right.
It will always be there because it's almost what we've wired it into the survival mechanism of our brain.
For the past 10 to 20 years.
Well, this is it. But we realise, when I feel that sensation or I feel that fear, I don't have to behave because of it. I can choose the future that I want, and I can stay consistently in actions to create that regardless of me feeling fearful or triggered or everything else.
So for yourself, how long did it take for you to realize that and transform out of the initial story?
It took me, my deeper work began when I was 25. This breakthrough was 7 years ago, so that's 8 years ago. 8 years.
So it took you 8 years. But
8 years of deep work.
For most people, do they need to take 8 years?
No. In one conversation with me, taking them through the transformational journey, most people said their life transforms completely.
And what was the transformation that you see, perhaps for yourself in your life? So initially you were on drugs.
Yeah, very good point. So there I was, 7 years ago, I was really struggling in businesses, and then I had this breakthrough, and all of a sudden I realised that instead of being, I'm not good enough, nobody wants me, I could be powerful, unstoppable, alive, free, and that I could choose that. And what happened was, I began being able to be really skilled in meetings with people because I began listening to people really carefully. And so I began to close business deals. My business began to take off. I could go out on dates, and I could make eye contact with my dates when I'm on a date with them and have a conversation with them.
You mean previously you couldn't?
No, I couldn't make eye contact. I couldn't maintain eye contact with people.
So after the transformation, you had multiple businesses, you had multiple dates?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I found a great partner. And one of the other things that was incredible was I went back home and I rang the doorbell of my home. And my father opened the door, and for the first time there was silence between us. I didn't have to tell him what I'm doing, how wonderful I am, or prove to him that I'm great, or win his respect, because that was one of the things that I always wanted. I was fearful that I'm just not good enough, nobody wants me, implied to my father, that my father just never saw how great I was. So I'd always try too hard. But for the first time, he opened the door. And as I made eye contact with him, there was this silence. He looked down at my feet, and he looked me back up in the eye, and he said, "What's happened to you then?"
And what happened from there?
I said, just a few realizations. So then we sat down, and there was this amazing connection for the first time between my father and I. We really became close from that moment on. And then a year or two later, he saw my lifestyle transform. He saw me become relaxed, confident, peaceful, and at ease. And he said, "Tell me about this transformation thing you do." So I said, "Yeah, sure, let's sit down." So we sat down in his office, and my father began telling me, about his life and what he was doing and thoughts he had. And I said to him, "Dad, you've got yourself to a place where you spend your life surviving, not creating.
Well,
you're doing everything that you're doing just an automatic because you put it in motion the days before. Not because you have something you're looking to create in the future consciously." And he got very angry with me, and he said, "How dare you tell me that? You can't teach me these things. You're a young boy. I'm a experienced businessman. How dare you say these things?" But because of the transformation that I'd had, emotionally, I was still. I was calm.
And what was
Usually when my father would have done that, this was the man that I actually feared the most.
Right.
Simply because of the interpretation I'd made of him in that moment, that I'm not good enough, nobody wants me.
Right.
But for the first time in my life, he was able to get angry and express himself, and I was able just to relax and just be there and just hear it.
So how did the session went on?
All of a sudden, he then quietened down and he said, "Sunshine, you're right. I have spent my life surviving." And at that point, he had this huge breakthrough and he realized, wow, so I haven't been choosing what I'm doing each day. So then we went on to a series of coaching conversations and he became my first coaching client at the beginning of 2016. So up until, that's right, up until then, I'd been coaching other people in courses in London that wanted to have breakthroughs, but this was the first time that somebody else had employed me as their coach, and it was my own father.
Isn't it amazing?
Incredible. To now give back to my father all the things he's done for me, to give back my time to him, and now he's grown his business to an international size. Right. And he's now pioneering the ticket reservation systems for ferry industries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ferry industries.
Yeah, his company owns Faros Data.
I see.
And so from there, I then went through my phone book and I said, guys, I'm now offering transformational coaching. Because he said, "Sunshine, you're very good at this. You should do this professionally." And I said, "You're the third person that's told me that this week, so I'll go for it." And then since then, now I just operate as a transformational coach, and that's all I do. And I've got clients from all over the world.
And just curious, prior to that, what was your relationship with your dad like?
We would always argue. We would never agree on anything. I always felt like he was grumpy or complaining or had an attitude problem.
And like what you mentioned, it was actually a reflection of how you interpret.
It was me. It was me. It was the whole time, yeah.
Right.
And then since then, I've now got a website full of testimonials from people saying their lives are transformed.
So we can see the stories from the website.
The
website is
danwarburton.com.
Ah, I see.
Yeah,
can you tell me a little bit more about the other things you do before you took this on full time? So what were you doing before you started coaching?
I was an interior designer, so I designed interiors for extreme kind of fashion places, so really incredible interiors.
Was that something that you love doing?
I was determined to get the job, and then when I did, after years of doing the work, within 3-4 days, I'd landed this huge job, and I was in this big glass building.
So who was your biggest client?
I was designing the interiors for a supermarket called Tesco's at the time.
Wow, I see.
Yeah, I mean, I have got this thing about me that whatever I choose, I go at it 100%.
Right.
You know, but when I was doing it from a place of I'm not good enough, it was just constantly hindering my performance. And then after that, I chose to go for it as a DJ, and I travelled the world as a DJ, and I set a world record as well.
A world record in?
Yeah, I hold the world record for the DJ who's managed to perform in the most venues ever played in 12 hours.
In 12, and how many places?
24 venues.
24 venues in 12 hours.
12 hours.
24 different cities.
Yeah.
Right?
No, 24 different venues in one city.
I see.
So I did that, and so I had
back to back.
I had to DJ and for 15 minutes, move 15 minutes, DJ 15 minutes, move 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then after that, I then became a handyman, and I called myself Super Dan the Handyman. And within 2 years, I built that from me, self-employed, to a team of 8 guys, all with matching uniforms, doing high quality, small building repairs and things like that for people.
I see.
And then that business then crashed. I failed that. I lost a ton of money in that. Then I rebuilt another business in 24-hour emergency and drainage. That became successful. And then whilst that was running the whole time underneath, I've been doing my transformational work and my studies.
I see.
And in the end, that rose, and that's become who I am and what I do now.
Imagine you not having that breakthrough. Probably you'll be now still on drugs.
God knows.
Yeah, God knows.
I think maybe not the drugs, but I maybe would have just been drinking a lot, smoking a lot. And I would have been someone that just went from one entrepreneurial opportunity to another without really succeeding in any. I'd have given up before I actually hit success and never achieved what I am now.
So this is amazing. Just one idea that totally changed your life. And this is what Dan does. So we want to bring you more ideas with Dan as well, and we'll keep you updated when he has live events here in Asia, in Singapore, Malaysia, or any parts of the world. So really glad to have you on our show today.
Thank you.
So we look forward to seeing Dan around more, and all the best to you guys.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
All right.